Welcome back, troglodytes, to Would You Rock or Not. Today we're going to learn about Billy Gibbons' Ultimate SG. This instrument has intrigued a lot of people, and it's kind of difficult to find information out there on it, so I'm going to help demystify this legendary guitar. First off, this instrument was never for sale by Gibson. It kind of has a story very similar to that Supreme Strat that I featured a few weeks ago. It was designed by Billy Gibbons, made by Gibson, but sold by Neiman Marcus. Now, if you don't know, Neiman Marcus, they are a massive retail icon in the fashion world. So what exactly is a high-end clothing store doing selling Gibson guitars? Well, here's a little bit more about the history behind them. This company was founded in 1907 in the USA in the state of Texas. Dallas, Texas to be specific. So in 2015, this major retailer wanted to do something special for their Christmas catalog. They decided that since they were a Texas-based company, they wanted to partner with Texas-born musicians to feature a special trio gift. Gibbons SG was then paired with two acoustic guitars that were modeled from Steve Miller as well as Lyle Lovett. Now, I'm not going to discuss those other two guitars in this video. You can see some photos right here, but the SG is what's really spectacular here. Each of these guitars were limited to 10 in production being sold by Neiman Marcus, with a staggering price point of $30,000 a piece. Now the website, if you look on here, it's almost a little bit confusing. It says Texas Guitar Trio Gift, $30,000 each. You could almost read that as each set is $30,000, but don't, because each guitar is $30,000. However, it doesn't appear that you had to buy all three. But here's what that $30,000 price tag gets you. Obviously, you get the guitar, but you get it under special circumstances. In order to receive your guitar, they don't ship it to you. You have to go to a concert that they provide you 2 tickets for, and Billy will play your guitar during that concert, and then he will personally hand you the guitar at the event. Neiman Marcus will also make a $5,000 donation in your name to their charity foundation called the Heart of Neiman Marcus. I'm sure Billy would sign the guitar for you as well if you wanted him to, but it's just really interesting that he will have played each of these instruments. But let's look at this guitar. It's interesting to say the least. Usually when people find photos of this guitar online, they only find the body. So let's look at this first. You have a normal SG shape, but it's got a few different things going on here. Instead of any type of pickguard at all, it actually has a specially carved body. You see this green area and how it slopes down right here? That is all custom carving to the mahogany body. So that is completely different from any SG that you'll ever find. You'll also notice that it has the sideway pull vibrato system on it, similar to like the original SGs. And if we take a close look, the tenon cover actually has Billy Gibbons' signature embossed on it. The pickups are Gibbons' own signature series from Seymour Duncan, which is interesting to find stock in a Gibson guitar. It's his Pearly Gates set. But take a look at this control layout. It looks very similar to like an Explorer or a Flying V with only 3 controls, but something's missing here. There isn't a pickup selector anywhere. So that means you have 2 volume controls, 1 for each pickup, and a master tone control. Now you can either love guitars that are set up like this because you can blend the pickups in unique ways that you can't do with just a 3-way selector switch, or you can hate them because it's a little bit more tricky to switch sounds in a live situation. But for such a high-end SG, look right here on the fretboard. A dot inlay? My friends, it doesn't end here. This is just half of the craziness of this guitar. It has a Flying V neck and headstock. Once you see this, then you understand why it's just so absolutely crazy, and I can feature it this October for my scary guitars. You have a vintage styled Flying V headstock. That means no Gibson logo in mother of pearl, you have the big gaudy Gibson emblem just smacked on there. You also have the sweet vintage Clusen style tuners. The neck is constructed out of mahogany as you would expect, and you have a dot inlaid rosewood fretboard. Now the finish is kind of interesting. I know it appears like a pink sunset metallic color, but it is described as a metallic copper and gold automotive paint finish. So I'm betting this guitar would look a lot better in person than it does in photos if the pinkish hue turns you off. But if you think you've seen all of this guitar, the best has yet to come. Going on with the Texas theme of the company and the musicians, in true Billy Gibbons style, they have a Texas-shaped backplate. That is really cool. On some of Billy's aged gold top models, he had them do buckle rash in the shape of Texas, but not the control plate like this one. But you might be thinking, Billy Gibbons, isn't he mainly known for like a Les Paul and some other funky instruments? Why did he choose an SG? He said the SG shape was chosen because he liked the contours of it, and that it was easier to modify this shape and make it look tasteful. What he's referring to is the carving on the top, and I think I can agree that it's still a traditional looking shape, but yet it has a little bit more of an added flair to it. But there's one more special thing about this instrument. The case that each of the Neiman Marcus's won were sold in were custom painted by a Nashville artist. His name is James Willis. So let's look at this case. Again, super Texas themed. That's pretty much what this whole thing is about. You have the guitar that sleeps inside of here on the top side of the case. You have the yellow rose of Texas, the Alamo building, a bull's skull, and hey, why not throw two armadillos on there too in a nice country setting. So the case itself is quite special. In the beginning of this video, I said only 10 were made of each. That does not count prototypes. Apparently, Gibson opened their vault and sold 2 of these prototypes to the Music Zoo, which, if you don't know, is a well-respected music retailer that opened in 1994. They received number 2 and number 5. These are the only 2 I have ever seen show up on the used market. These aren't technically used, but look at this price tag. They wanted $37,499. I mean, keep in mind, this does not come with those concert tickets, the donation to charity, and getting it played by Gibbons himself. Now, being a prototype, he probably got it at one point in time. Prior to researching this guitar, I thought this was like a long-lost custom shop guitar that Gibbons and Gibson were working on together, and it just fell through for some reason. So it was definitely fun finding out the history of these guitars, because let's face it, there were probably only about 15 of these things made in total, so technically you could argue this might perhaps be the rarest Gibson SG. Because at these prices, you could buy almost 3 original ones. So they are definitely crown jewels in people's collections. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find any sound samples of one of these, but let's listen to how an original 61 SG with a side pole tremolo unit sounds. The only question left, would you rock the BGSG V or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below, share the video with a friend who you think might enjoy it, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.